right.
Everyone's still wowed by all the cool changes coming up. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Jordan. Those are super, super exciting as always. So before we get into the rest of the content today, I wanted to welcome some libraries that have gone live recently. So we have Prosper Community Library in Prosper, Texas. So definitely click on the link to their site in their agenda. I think I see Wally in here. So, yep. I love their theme. They have great colors and they're really great members of the COA community. So we're really excited to have them here in the Aspen community as well. And we also had Franklin County Library go live. They had been in a soft launch for a while, but we're really excited that they're live, and their kind of sister county, Fulton County Library, is planning to go live very soon as well. So big welcome to our new libraries. We're so excited to have you. And next, I'm going to turn it over to Tara with updates about the Aspen community meeting.
Great community meeting. Even though we started with a light agenda, we had some really interesting conversations. That last meeting was in March, and we encourage everyone there every other month. So yes, definitely come to the next one that will be in May. We talked about, we really dug in especially to issues around like covers and the fact that a group work has I display one cover, but there's many possible covers and patrons might be looking for that one particular cover. So kind of ways we may manage the fact that there are many editions with many covers under one group work. And also talked about things like graphic novel formats, how to better display those, and yeah, a couple other things, as well as the greenhouse sharing and interesting things we can do with grouping there. So yeah, we really hope you'll come to our future meetings. I think we'll be doing more talking about just more things we can do with covers, illustrators, some of those issues that I think many of us have experienced. And we also have two working groups, a group working group, which is fun to say, and a group looking into regression testing that James at Nashville is leading. Yeah, I hope you'll come for the next time. And we've got planned also next time to talk a little more about Google Analytics and continue our conversations on some of our fun pie in the sky dreams.
Awesome, Tara. Thank you so much for the updates. I'm glad to hear that the community meetings are they're just growing and growing. And speaking of meetings, Jordan is going to talk a little bit about the newer catalogers group meeting.
Yeah, this came out of the group work, and we didn't ask anyone in the community to give an update here. Hopefully next time we'll have an update from all of you. But Tara actually covered a lot of what we talked about, really trying to figure out what data we have to enable the features that we want. So it was about, making sure that what do we have the abridged data or not on whether materials are abridged and should they be grouped together. And they said, yeah, we need to note where titles are abridged if we know that, but they're going to still stay grouped. The other was about not grouping graphic novels, which we talked a little bit about here last time. And then we talked about the desire for similar things to be grouped together. So even if we don't want to group, which we don't, the book and the movie version of something together, for example, we might want to let people know that, if you're looking at Harry Potter the book, hey, we have Harry Potter the movie. And start to think about how we might want to do that. And I'm really excited about the sharing functionality that Mark was able to start this month, because that's going to be a beginning of enabling that. So was anyone here at that meeting that wants to add more to that? Not to put you on the spot. All right. With that, I'm going to go ahead and move right along on the agenda. So I'm going to share my screen again. The next thing, there's just the first slide. So this is just a reminder of the community meetings when they are, and just maybe a couple pro tips. So the meeting that Tara was talking about, that's kind of the all hands everything group. That's the first one, the Aspen community meeting. That is every other month, and the next meeting is May 16th. The cataloging group that I was just talking about is monthly on the third Thursday. We also do have 3 ILS specific groups now. You can see Symphony and Evergreen right there. We are in the Polaris one has been a lot to schedule, but it's going to be Monday afternoons, probably. We just need to hear back from one more person, and probably every other month. I get a lot of questions that said, hey, I missed this. Well, first of all, I want to say within the agenda, we have a link to a different calendar depending on your time zone to make sure that you get the right calendar events that will put it on your calendar for the right time and so that you can kind of see all the right times. What I want to say, though, is that within those calendars, a lot of people don't realize that if you click on the little calendar icon, the arrow that you see on the screen right now, that is where you can get the calendar invite to copy it to your calendar. Because I keep getting folks saying, oh, I missed it, or oh, can you add me to the calendar event? This is how you add yourself to the calendar event. So make sure you're looking at the right one. Make sure you've opened the one for your time zone of the ones listed in the agenda. And then for any meetings that you want to attend, you can click on that little calendar icon and that little camera link right next to it. That's the Zoom icon that will actually get you the Zoom link. So just to make sure that everyone makes it to our meetings, know when they are, you get them on your calendar. That's the best way to do it, since we've gotten a few questions on that. All right. Next, I think that's up. We missed something. We have a pre-conference update we were supposed to get. There we go. I don't know how I missed that slide, but somehow it skipped over it. So we do have a pre-conference at ALA this year. It is on Friday, June 23rd. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 3:45 at DePaul University, downtown Chicago, so very near to the conference. We do have our initial speakers. So this is where we're announcing for the first time who the speakers are going to be at that pre-conference. The pre-conference is going to be all about open source, the advantages of open source, specifically like to Aspen, but obviously we have other open source folks talking there as well, how to work with vendors, how we can all work together to build the best technology for libraries. So yeah, those are the speakers. They're also listed in your program, and I just want to give a preliminary thank you to everyone that's agreed to talk, and I am so very much looking forward to this day. The other thing is, if you're planning on attending, within the agenda, there's a link to a sign-up sheet. We do have limited space in the room. So if it looks like it's going to fill up, we'll probably limit it to anyone who's on that list. So it's a really good idea to go ahead and sign up on that list. That'll also make sure that you get all of the information about attending, what we might do for lunch, what we might do afterwards. So yeah, if you're interested in this at all, please do sign up with the link that is in the agenda. Okay, if you were paying attention at the beginning of this meeting, you know that we did a whole lot more than we even said. The link to this, if it's a little small for you, is in the agenda. So maybe if you can't read it here on your screen, you can blow it up a bit. But we got a lot done this month. First of all, the language and translations for LIDA that we said we were going to get done. You could see that one in action. Also, the Aspen Events Integration Communico, and then it says, and Library Market, because when we did LibCal, we did a few extra features, and we didn't kind of make sure that Library Market had those features too. We're going to try to keep all of that event functionality across all of the integrations the same, to the most that we can. If the event vendor doesn't offer an API, we can't access that information. We can't provide the feature. It's the same thing with ILSs. You don't all have exactly the same features with Aspen. But if the functionality is available via the API, we will build it in for all of them. So that Communico, and then making sure that we had the same functionality for Library Market is what you saw today. We did do, as always like to call out the high priority bugs and the partner priorities that we do every month. But then we got into some new stuff. So I wasn't sure we'd have time to do the search facets in LIDA, but Kirsten's a rock star and got that in as well. Cody also is working on all of our event functionality. And that's where, again, we got ahead. So we were able to save those save those events to lists and your account. And then as you could see, the work that Mark did, just starting to be able to build that sharing in and the ability to support those multiple themes. I've been waiting for this one for a while. I know we've talked about it in the community forever. We've had conversations. We thought it was going to be really hard, and it's not easy, but we were able to come up with a way to get it started and start offering that right now. I will pause a little bit and talk about the community. I'm going to be bringing this to the community. You noticed that Mark said, okay, for themes, it's going to require some community approval. For the languages, we're going to have almost like an authoritative version for the community. We as a community need to talk about how we want to manage that. We don't want you to have to choose from like 4 different Spanish versions. We'd like to keep one up to date. But that's something we need to decide how we want to do that. So another kind of push to come to those community meetings is that's where those things will be talked about. So that's all the stuff we got done this release. Upcoming, we did a lot. We're going to take a step back. We're still going to get some stuff done, but I think we probably got a little bit fewer of the partner priorities done. Maybe we can get a few more done and then make sure all of the stuff we built last month, that we got every kind of tiny little thing that we wanted to do. So for events, we are going to be working on registration. Again, I don't think this is available from all of our vendors, but if you can register and we can show that within your account, there's an API for that. We will be displaying that registration within your account within Aspen. Barcode checkout in LIDA. This is in the design phase right now. There's a chance we'll get a little further along, but we need to really make sure this is designed well. This is, I do want to say first, going to be through a SIP connection. So if you use RFID in your library, the first iteration of barcode checkout will not work with RFID. It will just be a scan the barcode to check it out. So that is something to keep in mind. If you are interested in testing with us, especially if you have a test server, reach out and let us know. Excuse me, let us know. But I just want to be super clear on what that is. The other thing to know with it being a SIP connection is that if your ILS vendor requires you to pay per SIP connection, we need an additional SIP connection for this. We will in the future, in addition to looking at RFID, look at doing it with an API if there is an API available for checkout. So again, this is going to be phases of implementing this. You don't have, obviously, if you don't want it, you can turn it off. But we're starting with a SIP connection for the barcode checkout in LIDA. And then high priority bugs and partner priorities. And then we're going to continue that work on sharing content between partners. I hear everyone wants placard sharing. Like if I look at what people want to share, they want to share placards. Don't worry, we hear that. We're going to be, I don't want to promise that one. I don't know for sure because it's a little bit of a different model, but we know now that we have sharing, there's going to be a lot more requests for that. Okay, last thing to talk about today. You heard Tara talking about the community meeting, and kind of at the end of that meeting, it was like, hey, we had all these amazing ideas. If there was something we could do soon, something that we could do right away, what the community said is they wanted the ability to just kind of see all of the different book covers. So that they said there's been a difference, like the patrons will see something in the catalog, but not see it on the shelf, or see it on the shelf and then not be able to find it in the catalog. So we wanted to make sure we had the option to show all of these covers. So this is just a design mock-up, again, of something the community was asking for. With this show editions area of a title, we already have 2 different designs. If you want this, you're going to need to turn off labels. I knew that some folks were going to be like, wait, this isn't what mine looks like. So I went ahead and put a link to the settings within the agenda. So if we do this, it will require you to turn off labels. There's a link to the help documentation and how to do that. But this is what we came up with. So it shows the book covers and then a little bit more information about the book. And I'm going to go ahead and pause and open up chat to see. I want to ask what people think about this, first of all, for showing all these covers. Again, it would be an option. Yay, nay. Sure, maybe we'll use it. I see it looks great from Chanel. I like it. Beautiful. Thank you. More thank you, Kirsten, who does a lot of our design work. Oh, we went over a skeptic. I was skeptical too, Melissa. Like, I'm like, that is a lot of images on a page. And again, we're doing the mock-up so we can see it. Maybe once we start to play with it, everyone will be like, oof, that's a lot. But I'm liking the way this page looks. So I think we will probably, it sounds like no one's saying like, definitely don't do this. We'll probably go ahead and look at moving forward with this design. I will also say that we're going to stop doing as many of the complicated conversations here and leave those more to the community meetings and more to where there's a lot more time and space for conversation. So we'll probably be showing you some things like design here, but we're not going to dig too far into the deep questions at these meetings because I feel like it just kind of has been rushing them. But we will again keep showing things like this. Okay, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Morgan. After I say thanks, Sam, for happy 4th birthday, Aspen. If you don't know Sam from Uinta County, they were our very first library on this iteration of Aspen supported, or Aspen as a product on itself 4 years ago this week, I think, right, Sam?
Yeah, basically the last 2 weeks, we had a goal to debut it when we commissioned Mark to spin it up for us. We had the goal to debut it at the Computers and Libraries Conference in 2019. And I was just there last week with a good delegation of Aspen people celebrating its 4th birthday. And there were a number of sessions featuring Aspen. Of course, its DNA goes back a lot longer, and we appreciate that we're standing on the shoulders of giants.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yay, happy
really
4th
cool.
birthday.
It's been a fun 4 years.
And thanks to Sam for believing in Aspen and being that, I know that's a scary thing, being the first one to just be like, yeah, sure, we'll do this. So thank you for that, Sam.
Awesome. Well, I think it's time for some outreach updates from Elise.
Hey everybody, so we have a lot of conferences coming up, and speaking of conferences, if you have not read today's Aspen Weekly, Morgan did an incredible job recapping the Computers and Libraries Conference, so go read it right after this. But we have a lot of conferences in April. Next week we'll be in Tennessee, and then April 19th to 22nd. We will simultaneously be at the Texas Library Association Conference and the Oregon Library Association Conference. And then we'll be at the Evergreen International Conference from April 26th to 29th. So we hope to maybe see some of you at those conferences. And also, I know this is an Aspen meeting, but I got permission to plug this. The Koha Community Challenge will be going on this year from May 1st to 31st. It's a great cause, and we have some Koha partners in here, but even if you're not, you can still participate. It's super fun. It's just a way to get the community engaged. All the proceeds go to Koha US, and you can run, walk, hula hoop, whatever. Or if you don't want to do any of that, you can just make a donation. But this year we also have some cool merch, and the link is in the agenda. So you can choose what style of shirt or whatever item you want. So yeah, that's really it for me. Thanks so much.
Awesome, thanks Elise. All right, and with a little less than 15 minutes left, we are now going into open time. So does anyone have any comments, questions, hopes and dreams that you'd like to talk about? I need like a little soundboard that I can push with like crickets chirping. Okay.
So I can share some hopes and dreams that Montgomery County Public Libraries have that we talked about with you guys at our meeting, or talked about, with the Bywater team at our meeting yesterday for Aspen, which is, we were kind of inspired by Koha's new feature for the purchase suggestions, where someone can put in just the ISBN number and it'll fill out all of the details of the book. And we were thinking that would be great if it integrated with Aspen. But it also might be great if we could even build on that a little more for users who might not be savvy enough to find the ISBN. So this is definitely a pie in the sky thought and not really sure exactly what the end thing would look like. But if there could be some kind of integration with like Google Books or publisher lists so that a customer could put in like partial information that they know, and then it could check it against some kind of resource to say, hey, is this the book that you're looking for? Like, that would be a pretty cool feature. And Aspen has like so much of its design already built around a customer types something in and Aspen's like, okay, what did you actually mean? That like, if you guys are, you know, designing something like that, we feel like it could be a really great feature.
Anyone else have any comments about that or questions?
Would it be able to do UPC as well?
I think we'd have to look and see what like some of the Google Books and stuff would support, but yeah. Yeah. I know we've used WorldCat in the past for looking some of that up with mixed success. So I think they may have changed some of their APIs on us or something.
Well,
Yeah,
as long
neat
as it
idea.
survives, you could probably pull some of this from open library, at least the metadata bits.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's a
like
cool idea.
something to talk with more at the community meeting, and then maybe
Yeah.
even involving the catalogers, because it's about getting that, making sure we have that data. But yeah, Emily, I think you were saying yesterday that it's a lot about cutting down on the errors that the people approving requests are seeing. That they're just seeing that if we could give them a little bit better information or a little bit head start on the information, they would either they would see that you already had the title or have better information. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Just to make those requests kind of easier to understand what they're going for.
I love that idea. I think it leverages things that we do in other places in Aspen. So it's definitely worth looking into, and we can talk about it more as a community for sure.
I wonder if you're already using something like Novel List, even if you don't have that item in your catalog, but you have that connection. Anyway, that's probably a sidebar conversation. Just seems like there's something there, you know.
I see. Oh, go ahead, Jordan.
It definitely needs some brainstorming on potential data sources, and then investigating each data source, I think, is the next step there. There's a question in the chat. Is there a Zoom link for the catalogers meeting? In the links that Cal did, I didn't mention this, for the calendars, at the very bottom of your time zone calendar, we have links for all of the other meetings as well as the times. So you can find those down there, and make sure click on the calendar to get the actual event. There's a question, could there be a post-event survey functionality tied to the event registration? Right now, Buyu, we're working on, we're pulling from other events module. So Aspen does not have its own event. So that would be something that would probably come from your event vendor right now, but we are talking about building some of that type of functionality into Aspen in the future. So definitely, as we start having the conversations around functionality for events, we're also going to be having conversations around how we want to do maybe some email notifications in the future. That's definitely a possibility. Michelle has a heads up that there for 2022, she had to change the dates in the calendar. I'm sure Cal will take a look at that to see, or to make sure that those are correct.
Okay, anyone else have any comments or questions?
Question.
Yeah.
In LEDA, on a lot of the item details, I get description not provided. And I wonder why that could be happening. It happens a lot.
Melissa, are you seeing descriptions in Discovery for those same titles?
Oh, I haven't done a comparison.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether or not it's like e-content that you only own maybe as Hoopla that doesn't have a description. That's kind of my first thought. The first thing to do is check whether or not it matches Discovery. And if it's the same in Discovery, then it's not a LEDA issue. It's still something we want to look at though. So maybe get a couple examples together, put in a ticket, and we'll investigate that. That's not something I've heard before.
So we have a fair number of description not found in our Discovery, which I had suggested a long time ago that section be like collapsed or removed when that happens. Because it's just, you have to scroll past it every single time and it's, basically useless information.
I hadn't seen that one, Chanel. I'll take a look. Because yeah, if it's the same text every time, we should be able to skip it and hide it, just like we do for the other sections. If we don't get data in, we tend to hide those sections. So it's just something we need to look at.
Okay, I'll find some examples and.
Or Chanel, if you still have that ticket, just ping it, email it to me or whatever, and we'll look at it.
I don't think I had it as a ticket. I think I had just suggested it in a discussion.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
Hey, we're looking for some cool things coming from Christopher Zorn at Ajax related to mapping of collections. So stay tuned. Looks like he couldn't make it today. So we'll probably hear from him at a community meeting or in the near future.
Oh, and he's ready. We would love for him to demo here.
It went online today, or is going online today for those that are in the know, and for those that aren't, you'll have something fun to look forward to and play with.
You said this was for format mapping, or?
Think something kind of like stack maps,
Oh,
but perhaps more open sourced.
that's cool. All right.
Now we just need to watch Ajax's server to make sure everyone going there to check it out.
Is it live on their site? It's not live on their site
Yeah.
yet.
Looks
Okay.
like it's not live yet.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm going to be refreshing their page every now and then until it's there. Okay, we have like 3 minutes left. Any last minute comments or questions before we wrap up? Going once. Going twice. All right. Well, this was another great Aspen gathering. Thank you so much for coming, and we will see you again next month. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks.
bye.
Thank you.